Wow. Okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. So, I can't tell that one either. I mean, I'm like actually cycling through that.
Ashton Kutcher and him they were real tight. One time, me, him, Ashton Kutcher went to a Nets game, and we met Jay-Z there. You know what I'm saying? So they were close. They was cool.
Just throw your hands in the air. Black out, throw your hands in the air.
Kutcher looked in the window and saw what he thought was spilled wine on the floor. We believe now the evidence will show that was actually blood.
Looks like the feds are out here making bold moves again. And this time, the name on everybody's lips is Ashton Kutcher. Word on the internet streets is that Ashton just got snatched up in connection with the wild Diddy investigation that's been blowing up lately. People are saying Ashton might have been arrested as a co-conspirator, and honestly, it would explain a lot. He's been ghosting the public ever since the Diddy drama caught fire. No interviews, no red carpet appearances, not even a shady tabloid snap. Fans think he's already locked down, and now all his old drama is crawling back up like a bad dream. Folks been digging into his past, and it's way uglier than anyone remembered. Back in high school, Ashton straight up broke into his school to cheat and jack some cash. And yeah, he caught a third-degree burglary charge for it. That's a whole felony on his record. Fast forward a few years, and boom, he's out here co-hosting Diddy's infamous white parties. The same parties now tangled up in some seriously disturbing accusations. And here's where it gets even more sketchy. Rumors are bubbling back up that Ashton was allegedly dating Lindsay Lohan back when she was just 16. That alone got people side-eyeing him heavy, saying he might be just as shady as Diddy. And when you line up the timeline, it's starting to look real suspect. Then there's the heartbreaking case of Ashley Rinn, Ashton's ex-girlfriend. The tragedy around her loss still haunts people, and his story from that night always felt a little off. Folks never fully bought it. Now to top it all off, reports say Mila Kunis just filed for divorce. Insiders are claiming she's done covering for him, and whatever just went down might have been the final straw. So now the big questions are, did the feds really lock up Ashton Kutcher? Was he Diddy's secret partner in crime? And what did Mila find out that made her run for the door? Most people don't know this, but Ashton Kutcher was never the clean-cut heartthrob Hollywood tried to sell us. Way before the fame, before that 70s show, before the big tech deals and that smooth talk show charm, Ashton already had a rap sheet. And we're talking felony level. Back in his senior year of high school, Ashton didn't just pull some silly prank. He straight up broke into his own school. Not for a dare, not for fun. He was out there trying to cheat on a test and steal money. Yeah, he got caught red-handed and ended up charged with third-degree burglary. That's a whole felony, not some slap on the wrist. That one move blew everything up. He lost his college scholarships, his clean record, and even his right to vote. But here's where it gets real shady. Once he hit it big in Hollywood, Ashton pulled some strings. He paid to get that felony expunged. Just like that. Record cleaned. Voting rights restored. No more trace of that scandal. All because when you're rich in America, the system suddenly plays nice. After that, he gave college a shot at the University of Iowa. But that didn't last long. Ashton even admitted he was wilding out, constant parties, getting evicted from his apartment for being loud and reckless. So what did he do next? Dropped out and hit New York, chasing fame as a model, even posing alongside names like Tom Welling from Smallville. But things get way darker when Ashley Rinn's name comes up. She was a 22-year-old fashion student and Ashton's girlfriend at the time. The night she lost her life in a brutal way, Ashton claimed he showed up at her place late. He looked through the window, saw red stains on the carpet, and thought it was just spilled wine, so he dipped. By the next morning, Ashley was found inside that same house, gone.
Mr. Kutcher looked in the window and saw what he thought was spilled wine on the floor. We believe now the evidence will show that was actually blood.
People never bought that story. Like, who sees something that looks like blood and doesn't even knock or call out? That excuse has always sounded off. And now, with everything resurfacing, folks are giving his past another hard look. For years, fans been giving Ashton serious side-eye over the whole Ashley Rinn situation. And turns out, she wasn't the only one surrounded by mystery. Guess who else Ashton was tight with? Brittany Murphy. Yeah, that Brittany. She passed away at just 32 under some super suspicious circumstances Official reports said pneumonia and anemia. But here's the wild part. Her husband, Simon Monjack, died just months later from the exact same thing.
Hollywood is mourning the loss of Brittany Murphy this morning. The 32-year-old actress died on Sunday from what officials say appear to be natural causes. An autopsy is planned reportedly against the wishes of her husband. CBS News correspondent John Blackstone has this report.
People didn't buy that for a second. Two healthy adults suddenly gone within months. Same strange causes? Nah, that's got red flags written all over it. It didn't take long before fans started piecing things together, and now the questions are getting louder. Was Ashton involved in something way deeper? Could he have been just as dirty as Diddy this whole time? And Britney's case? It's giving serious cover-up vibes, especially now that folks are remembering Ashton and Diddy used to co-host those infamous white parties. Yeah, those parties. The all-night celebrity-filled bashes dripping in secrecy and scandal. A-list actors, models, moguls, and a whole lot of things that were never meant to come to light.
To me, I think what makes it work is, I know...
Is it you're so freaking hot?
No, it's being able to do scenes with him and being in it with him. I mean...
But Britney ain't the only one. People online been pointing fingers at another shocking case. Kim Porter, Diddy's ex and the mother of 3 of his kids. She passed in 2018, and guess what the official cause was? Pneumonia, just like Britney, just like Simon. Young, healthy, and gone too soon, all tied to the same circle. Now folks are really starting to wonder what's hiding behind those velvet ropes, and how deep does this rabbit hole go? Same sketchy cause of death again and again. But let's zoom out for a second, because there's a way bigger pattern forming, and Ashton Kutcher is sitting smack in the middle of it. He's been playing Mr. Innocent in the spotlight, but behind the scenes. He's been moving real quiet with Diddy, and some insiders say Ashton wasn't just a business buddy. He was trusted with some serious secrets. Why? Because Ashton was super close with Danny Masterson. Yeah, that Danny. The one now locked up for some truly disturbing crimes. And when that connection started getting heat, Diddy pulled Ashton, Danny, and Wilmer Valderrama into his private circle. This wasn't just a Hollywood hangout. Diddy dubbed them the new Hollywood Rat Pack. But don't let the cute nickname fool you. This wasn't about cigars and lunch meetings. These dudes were flying across the globe, partying nonstop, throwing hush-hush events, and allegedly doing some wild stuff behind closed doors that never made the headlines. And it gets even shadier. Ashton reportedly introduced Diddy to Adam Neumann, the controversial CEO of WeWork. Yeah, the guy who finessed billions out of investors and ran the company like a cult. And guess what? Diddy quietly got a slice of that action too.
I am the kind of person that actually learns more from their mistakes than from their successes. So all the great things we did in the past, we're gonna do again.
No big headlines, no press coverage, just smooth behind-the-scenes profits. Now here's where it really starts to twist up. When you mix money, power, and silence like that, you're not just forming a friend group, you're building a web where everybody's got dirt on each other, and no one's talking. What you're really seeing here isn't just a cover-up, it's a fortress, a locked-down, no-snitch zone where everything dirty gets buried deep. And the proof? Try it for yourself. Go online and search New Hollywood Rat Pack with any of their names. Ashton, Diddy, Danny, Wilmer. You'll find barely anything. It's like the internet got scrubbed with bleach from top to bottom. Why has everything vanished? Because ever since Diddy got arrested, Ashton and Mila have been laying low, moving like ghosts. Suddenly, they're acting like they barely even knew the man, like Diddy was just some random dude they saw once on a red carpet. Please, they were thick as thieves. Now they're out here pretending it was all a coincidence, and they pulled that same trick when Danny Masterson got sentenced. Years of being besties, all those birthday shout-outs, cozy family vacations, fun throwback pics, gone, deleted without a trace.
People were shocked to find out that Ashton and Mila, who kind of have branded themselves as activists for victims, would write letters on behalf of a person who had been convicted already.
Like none of it ever existed. It's given full-on rebrand vibes, straight-up damage control on a Hollywood level. But here's the real kicker. This ain't their first rodeo. Ashton and Mila, they've been tight with Scientology for years. A bunch of their closest friends are deep in it, even some of their staff supposedly part of the network. And if you know how that organization operates, phew, that's a whole other level of control. Scientology's got a long track record of flipping the media script, scrubbing headlines, scaring off reporters, and making entire stories vanish. That's not just PR, that's silence on demand. So if you've ever wondered why some of these scandals barely make a ripple, now you know. And just to top it off, when someone asked Ashton about Diddy's notorious parties, he straight up said, "There's a lot I can't tell."
Wow. Okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. So, can't tell that one either. I mean, I'm like actually cycling through them.
What was he keeping quiet about? That one sentence, "There's a lot I can't tell," sent the whole internet into chaos. People instantly started digging, and the whispers turned loud. Theories popped up saying Ashton's silence could be hiding everything from wild freak-offs to straight-up exploitation, the same kind of behavior Diddy's now being dragged to court for. But here's the twist. Remember Thorn, Ashton's nonprofit that was supposedly all about stopping child exploitation online? On paper, it looked noble, heroic even. But behind the scenes, way too many questions, not enough answers.
He said, within any 3 blocks where we're standing, you can go buy somebody. And I was floored by the notion of that.
Some of the internal documents are completely blacked out. Key partnerships feel way too convenient. And people have even filed Freedom of Information Act requests just to figure out what's really going on in there. It's gotten that shady. Then out of nowhere, boom, Ashton resigns from Thorn's board. No statement, no warning, just gone. Word on the street is he bounced because the heat was coming. Insiders say the spotlight was about to swing right onto him, and he didn't want that smoke.
So the Times.com is reporting that Ashton Kutcher has resigned from his position as the chairman of the board, effective immediately. He wrote a very lengthy letter.
Now, if you think that's messy, wait till we talk about Davy Chase. Yeah, the girl who played the terrifying little ghost from The Ring. Most people think she just faded out of Hollywood quietly. But nah, the truth is way darker. The whispers say it all started the night she got invited to a party with, you guessed it, Diddy and Ashton. She was way too young to be at that kind of party, and ever since that night, her life's been in total chaos. We're talking multiple arrests, substance charges, jail time, the whole downward spiral, and the crazy part, people are saying that party was the trigger. The night everything flipped for her. Now the real question is, how many more stories like this are out there, and who's been helping keep them quiet? By 2019, Davy Chase was already getting booked, first for a misdemeanor, and just 5 months before that, she was hit with a substance possession charge. Then by early 2024, right back behind bars after another Hollywood arrest. This girl went from shining on red carpets to racking up mugshots in under 10 years. And no, people aren't chalking it up to bad luck anymore. The rumors say something happened that night, that party with Ashton and Diddy. Something dark, something that broke her down in a way you don't just bounce back from.
Hi. How are you doing? How's the New Year's going for you?
Great. Please don't do this.
Sorry. Well, Happy New Year anyways. I'm sorry.
Happy New Year, V.
Folks believe that night flipped her life completely, and the pain's been chasing her ever since. But here's the bombshell. Davy wasn't alone. Word is, Ashton Kutcher allegedly had a thing for much younger girls. The street's been saying that he and Lindsay Lohan were a thing when she was just 16. And get this, when Ashton supposedly cut it off, she ended up with Wilmer Valderrama right after. Starting to see a pattern here? It's like that whole inner circle shared the same disturbing taste. And Ashton wasn't just in the mix, he was dead center.
In Lizzie McGuire, she also has an album out. She's going to be in a movie called Cheaper by the Dozen. And she's one of the girls that we're all waiting for to turn 18.
Now we already know Diddy's dealing with lawsuit after lawsuit, stacked higher than a game of Jenga ready to collapse. But if you zoom out and look at the bigger picture, Ashton, Wilmer, Danny Masterson, the vibe is giving serious co-conspirator energy. Let's zoom in on Wilmer for a second because his past, wild. He met Mandy Moore when she was just 15 and he was already 20. At the time, both of them claimed nothing shady was going on. But years later, Mandy came clean. Yes, the relationship did happen while she was underage.
I dated him when I was 16 and 17. No. I love him and I still love him and he's a very good friend, and that's why I was so shocked by it, because not only was it a fib, but it was so unlike him. It was so uncharacteristic. He was like my first real true boyfriend.
Right.
Yeah.
But he did not take your virginity.
He did not.
So now the question is, how many of these so-called friendships were hiding something darker? And how long has this web of silence been protecting them all? And it gets even worse, y'all. In one downright gross interview with Howard Stern, Wilmer Valderrama straight up bragged about being the first guy to sleep with Mandy Moore. He laughed, joked, and treated it like some kind of trophy moment. It was disturbing to watch. Mandy later came forward and shut it down, saying it wasn't even true, and that the whole thing hurt her deeply.
Who I think is a real hot piece of ass. You dated Mandy Moore.
Yeah.
For two.
Mandy Moore!
What's that like? Jesus.
Then came Lindsay Lohan. Back in the early 2000s, she was that girl, the face of every tabloid, chased by paparazzi nonstop. At the time, Wilmer was 24, and Lindsay was just 17. They swore up and down that they were just friends. But then, like clockwork, the moment she turned 18, boom, they went public as a couple. That midnight birthday trick again.
He probably took her virginity.
Did he?
Yeah.
Lindsay Lohan?
Why are you insulting the man? He was how many years you were going out with Lindsay Lohan?
We were together for like a year and something.
But you don't meet her.
Fast forward to 2010, and here comes the exact same playbook. Wilmer starts hanging out with a young Demi Lovato. Same lines. We're just friends. He's like a brother. Then guess what? As soon as Demi hits 18, suddenly they're official. At that point, Wilmer was 29, over a decade older. And just like with Lindsay, Demi later admitted the relationship actually started before she was legal. At this point, it's not coincidence. It's a blueprint. Mandy, Lindsay, Demi. The pattern is crystal clear. The timeline is always shady. And that we waited until 18 story, it shows up every single time like it was rehearsed.
I met Wilmer, he was 29. I met him on January 11th of 2010. And it was at a PSA shoot at his house for the 2010 census forms. And I have to have him. But I was only 17. And so he was like, get away from me. After I had turned 18, we began dating. I think it was love at first sight.
In 2022, Demi finally said what everyone had been thinking. But she didn't just speak it, she sang it. She dropped a song called 29. And when I say the lyrics hit hard, they were raw, real, and painful. She never dropped Wilmer's name directly, but everyone knew who she was talking about. In interviews, Demi confirmed it herself. I feel like the song says it all. Now the question is, how many more girls got caught in this same cycle? And when does the industry stop turning a blind eye? And honestly, that song really did say it all. But let's keep it real. One thing about the internet, it never forgets. It always leaves breadcrumbs. So while people were digging through old threads and forums, one user comment popped out like a 5-alarm fire. Listen to this. Wilmer Valderrama was part owner of a bar I worked at. Absolute garbage human being. Underage girls would come in a lot, and we were told we were never allowed to ID anyone at his tables. Yeah, you read that right. An actual employee said Wilmer owned the bar, and underage girls regularly walked through that door. Management allegedly told staff straight up, do not card anyone at Wilmer's tables. That's not just shady, that's full-blown setup status. That means management was in on it. That means the whole environment was designed to protect the worst kinds of behavior. We're not talking about, oops, didn't know her age. This was systemized, calculated, built to let predators move freely. And guess who else was allegedly tied to this mess? Megan Good. Yup, that Megan, the one who's all about faith and healing now. According to that same comment, she was also an investor, and the employee described her as horrendous. So whatever was going down in that place, they're saying she either turned a blind eye or, worse, benefited from it. Now think about this. Wilmer's running this bar. Ashton Kutcher, his longtime bestie, business partner, and wingman since that 70s show, is right there next to him. You really think Ashton didn't know what was happening? Be serious. To make it even wilder, Ashton's the same guy who launched a tech company to fight child exploitation online. Publicly, he's out here playing hero, talking about saving victims. But behind closed doors, he's allegedly surrounding himself with men who built entire playgrounds for targeting vulnerable girls, places where age didn't matter, and no one dared to ask questions. So now it's time to ask, was Ashton really fighting exploitation, or just hiding behind the image while standing in the middle of it? So when you zoom all the way out and look at this whole crew, the so-called New Hollywood Rat Pack that Diddy put together, it's clear this wasn't just some party squad. This was a network, a circle built on silence, secrets, and scandal. And Ashton Kutcher was right in the center of it all. And if the streets are really talking facts, then Mila Kunis might be done with Ashton for good. Word is, she's finally had enough of the chaos and dipped out. The rumor mill says she's officially filed for divorce, and honestly, it makes sense. Everything flipped once Ashton's name started getting tangled up with Diddy's. So now what? Ashton's out here looking like he's on cleanup duty, flying solo. No Mila, no marriage, just him, that shady Hollywood crew, and a whole lot of unanswered questions. And trust, there's plenty he still hasn't addressed, but now it's your turn. I want to hear from you. Do you think Mila really hit him with those divorce papers? Do you believe Ashton knew exactly what was going on behind those velvet ropes? From the underage party rumors to that sketchy bar setup, was he in the know or just playing dumb behind the Hollywood machine? Sound off in the comments. Drop your thoughts, your theories, and your receipts. You know we keep it all the way real over here. And while you're at it, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and tap that bell so you never miss the next deep dive into what's really going down in Hollywood. Catch you in the next one.